Hey there, Silas. I have given up on trying to re-upload your VOD review onto YouTube, so I've just decided to just reshoot it, and we're gonna see how it goes. Hopefully, this one will actually get to YouTube. Um, all right. So, since it's been a while, for context, this is your Week 3 varsity match against Sora. To remind you of the situation a bit, this was the week we played against Davenport Central, where we had particularly terrible lag. Um, Everyone was a little on edge. Kind of as a group, we were all kind of annoyed, right? Pretty human, at the lag situation. But yeah, so you had two games against the Sora. I'm not gonna look at the first one because its lag is just atrocious, just horrible. Like I'm not sure there's even anything to really gain by watching it. There's still a little bit of lag in this one, but it's not nearly as bad. Absolutely tons we can get out of this. So uh, let's get into it. Ugh. All right. So to begin with, like I mentioned, we were all a little bit on edge that day. So I don't know. I can't read your mind, right? I don't know how much that was influencing how we were playing. But there are a couple of things here that I think the reason you lose this match, we could largely attribute to that mental state, assuming you were as kind of annoyed with the lag situation as the rest of us. Um, a lot of the reasons you get hit throughout this match are largely due to some uh, of your habits that you had a couple weeks back, namely holding in, and a couple of very common new player habits that up till now I haven't noticed you do, but maybe I need to watch a little bit closer. So let's take a look and we can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So you're still doing a great job in neutral, just kind of in general. So I'm gonna start here because you're doing neutral really well. Um, you're weaving in and out of their attack zones. You're being very cautious, which Sonic wants to do. You're picking your moments to attack. You are noticing when they're using shield and doing grabs to punish them. You're correctly using all of your the three major parts of the triangle: attacks, grabs, and shields. I have no concerns about any of that. You're doing fantastic in that realm. So I probably won't point it out too much throughout the set. I just want to tell you up front, on that front, you're doing great. So well done there. Yep, like right there, just great job shielding. You get the grab there. Okay, he goes to ledge. Excellent punish. I actually don't know if that will hit them while they hang there, but if so, awesome. I should probably look that up. Great job avoiding all that. Okay. So right here, I believe, is the first time you do it. Now, I might be mistaken, but I don't think I am. Where, to me, it looks like you're holding in here. That whole time, you're just kind of going straight up in the air, right? I know we've talked about this a little bit in your very first VOD review, but when you're getting hit, right, in like a combo string at low percents, you want to use what's called combo DI, where instead of holding in and down to survive, since you're in no danger of dying, you want to hold out and away, right? This will both push you more toward the edge back so you can get back to ledge, right? Back to, or at least back away from the opponent, uh, toward the ledge, back to neutral, okay? Um, and in some situations, which may or may not have included this one, I'm not entirely positive exactly how true this is against other characters. And Yoshi can double jump out of a lot of Sora's stuff, so it's hard for me to know. But in some situations, it'll also get you out of the combos early, right? or give you a frame to do something like an air dodge or otherwise react to avoid the rest of the combo. So to me, throughout that combo, it looked a lot like you were holding in towards Sora, whereas when you're at this low percent, you want to be holding away. All right. I'm pointing it out here because you kind of do it through most of the set, and it's going to get you a couple times. So I just want to point out the first time it happens where it's not a big deal. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, you went for a read, didn't work. Noticed it didn't work. Let go in time. Great job. Okay, going for an F smash read. Not bad. Okay, right here. So you overshoot ledge on purpose, trying to get a back air. Totally fine. You went for the back air, so I know like you didn't just miss ledge. You were going for something. And had he been in the had he stayed kind of right there, you would have hit him, right? Totally fine. I think that's actually a good call. Here's the big mistake, and this is how you're going to lose another stock later too. I think that's how you lose the match. A lot of players, when they get a little spooked, a little bit on edge and when they're in defense, they roll in at ledge, and that's what you do here. And you're going to do it later too. So you get here, you shield for a split second, but you're going for a roll. But you're rolling towards Sora and he gets an F smash off of it. So rolls are great. Okay, I don't have a problem with rolls. I have a problem with spamming rolls. I much prefer just waiting in shield, but I understand like rolls are a great tool. You have to use them, right? Along with spot dodges and just shielding in general. The issue with this one is this is particularly common. So good players, like this Sora is actually fairly good. They're doing a lot of really, really good stuff. They also have a pretty great neutral here. They will be on the lookout for that, right? That's one of the most common habits that a good player will try to watch for. And so he correctly gets your read here. You kind of did a panic roll in, and he got you for it. Great job there. Very nearly killed. If you were still at that high percent you were before you lost that stock, you probably would have killed. Okay, you try to read a roll in. Okay, understandable. It's very common for new players to do that. Very common habit, rather. But he's happy to just hang on ledge until you show him that, you know. So your Bolt is doing a great neutral here. Excellent spacing. You punish him when he's facing the wrong direction with an F smash. Good work. Okay, you miss a tech, no biggie. He doesn't get too much off of it. You correctly leave. Yep, don't overcommit. Yep, you tried to read that. You just lost the RPS game there a little bit. Happens. You wait a little bit too long there, right? So that comes out. You should have let go immediately. It just went for it. That's okay. It was just a late reaction. So like right here again. Okay. So he freezes you here, right? So you had misspaced a little bit because he could just run in Blizzaga, right? So it was a little bit too dangerous. It hit a little bit higher than I think you expected it to. Again, a matchup thing. Not a big deal. But the issue here is coming out of this, right? I believe you air dodge. Yep. So you break out of it. And I know we've discussed how to mash, right? You got two options for mashing, either spin control stick or mashing the buttons. I don't know how your controls are set up. So I'd be careful. When I mash my face buttons, I don't have a way to roll by mistake, right? So I can't air dodge when I mash my buttons. So just be cautious when you're mashing to make sure that you're not doing that by mistake. And if you are gonna decide, I'm not sure if this was a decision or mashing, if you're going to decide to leave this, make sure you're going to air dodge in a direction that's away from the opponent rather than in place or toward them, right? Like, get that distance, like go down into the stage, right? So he catches you there. Okay, you do a great job going to ledge, getting in, trying to punish. Yep, great catch on the landing. You give him space with him when he has Blizzaga. You don't let him get that. So you do roll in here. And I am 95% confident this is not a habit you have. I'm almost certain I've seen you choose plenty of other options, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm just going to call out that he does punish you for it here. Excellent catch there. That was awesome. Oh, so right there. Happened again. You're in a panic situation at ledge, right? At the edge of the stage, rather. And you're in shield. So let's talk about what your options are, right? So you can either roll in, which he's already punished you for once, and it's very common. I'd pretty much never recommend rolling in this situation unless you get the hard read that they're not going to punish you for it. It's just like the first thing people check for, right? We haven't really had much of a discussion about the most common habits yet, largely because I think it'd go over most of our players' heads just right now. I'd rather you guys be concentrating on other stuff at the moment. But rolling in at ledge, super common that a lot of players are going to pick up on. So let's talk about what options you have when you are in this situation where you're in a shield at the edge, right? You can either keep holding shield, which is fine, but eventually you're back in the same situation, or in an even worse situation, they apply pressure again. Now your shield, might get shield poked or whatever. You can do an attack out of shield. Okay, so you can do like a short hop nair or something. Try to get it back off. Anything you pick can be punished, right? If they get a hard read. So you're trying to pick an option that is least likely to get punished and is probably safe. You could roll toward ledge. That's like the second most common thing to happen. Okay? When people are at ledge, super common for them to roll in. Second most common habit is to roll back toward ledge. It's actually quite good for Sonic in sometimes, because if you roll back toward ledge, then you can get a grab, right? And as we talked about in your last VOD review, Sonic's back throw is a great kill option. So that's something to consider. Ow, sorry. There we go. Sonic's back throw is a fantastic kill option. So rolling backwards toward ledge will face Sonic toward the right, toward the middle of the stage, and then you can grab whoever is now in front of you and then back throw them. Be careful if they start calling you out on it, right? Because if you're at the very edge of the stage and they land something like a down smash or whatever, you will die very early, right? So I'm not saying it's safe. I'm saying it's not a bad mix-up. You can jump into the air, right? You're now in a juggle situation, but if you jump into the air and they leave, then you can just land right back on stage. So that's an option. If they try to attack you down here, you're now up here. If they can call you out on it, and now you're in a juggle situation. So it's none of your options are 100% safe. Don't get me wrong, but that's not a bad option. And finally, my personal favorite is run off stage. You can drop shield and just run off stage and then quickly jump back on. You can either go to ledge, right, and be in a ledge situation if you're comfortable like that, like I am, or you can just jump back on stage real quick once you know what they're going to do. Because if you run off stage and your opponent runs over and tries to punish you being here, right, then you could do what you did earlier and like jump up and back air, and that's a pretty decent option. So try to watch for the future when you find yourself in this situation to pick between those options and try to avoid ever rolling in unless you really, until they start punishing your other stuff. Don't roll in. That's my advice. That's the best advice I can give in the situation. Just assume all of your opponents will just read a roll in until they start punishing you're the option you actually pick. Okay? Try to give that a shot, and I think you would have probably won this game. Great job there. Okay, so like right here, great situation where turnaround grab actually might have gotten a kill here. You went for the slower option of turnaround F smash, right? It's not a terrible option, but it's a little dangerous. It's a smash right next to the person, right? Um, if he had gone with, say, jab, you would have lost to that. Had he grabbed, you would have lost to that, because I assume, right? I think his grab would grab you there, but you do take a step backwards when you do your F smash, so maybe not. Unknown. Either way, it's a little slow. It's just a slow option for the situation you found yourself in here. If you had been a little bit earlier, that would have been a good option, because he did have to land without a shield, but, you know, like he was just already down there. So anyway, turning around and grabbing in this situation, you're facing the wrong way. Yeah, so you're facing the wrong way. Letting go. So it looks like that's out of shield. Looks like you drop shield. Anyway, turn around grab here would have been great. Drop shield, turn around grab, back throw. Probably would have killed Sora here. Just be aware of your back throw as a kill option. Your throws are just good. Even if it doesn't kill, Sora is very light and you're at 133. I do think it would have killed, but maybe I'm wrong. Either case, getting people off stage is just generally a good thing. Sora, more than most characters, less so, I suppose, but even so. Alright, so escape there. I'm just going to point out, once again, the only option you'd pick here is roll in from ledge. It's just a really dangerous option, so just be aware of it, that at least during this game, this is the habit that you're doing. I'll start trying to watch for it in the future as well. Okay, so he's hanging out at ledge. You notice he does this a lot. But as soon as you approach, he is dropping. So I think you're making the right call in not punishing it, right? The only thing I can say here is when you find yourself in a situation like this where you know the player is, once you approach, isn't going to keep hanging on ledge, so you can't like run up F smash down to hit him, you can bait it by just running forward and then just doing we've talked about tomahawks in class where you just jump up and then land without doing anything. You can just kind of do that. Just run forward, jump backwards, land here, see what he does, right? So this Sora drops down right from here. And if he goes back to grab this, then he's not going to have any invincibility. So you can just run forward, smash. He might choose something else, which he does, right? So he jumps way up here. So if you had been in that situation, you could have run over here and have smashed, whatever. But you could have just at least seen what he does and then try to punish it, if not this time, then in the future. Or like forward air here also would work. But I digress. Then he went back to ledge, and he had no invincibility. So if you were positioned a little bit closer here, if you weren't respecting him on ledge so hard, you could have gotten some punishes here. So just something to keep in mind. Ledge is really safe until you let go of it. Great job there. So let's see here. He smacks you. Looks like you're holding in, but you're immediately air dodging to avoid it. So it works. Okay, so right here I'm going to point out, you do kind of approach a ledge a little bit. So like you were falling up here, right? And you held in, and then you realized what you were doing, so you backed off, and then you kind of held in like right here. And he's way over here, so in this case it doesn't matter, but you do it throughout this game a lot. When you get knocked off stage, you kind of like hold in, so you're approaching kind of at this direction. Don't be afraid to just kind of fall down here and then hold in kind of when you're more safe. Oh, so there you go. So actually right here, you actually don't do the habit. You just double jump out of it. So good job there. Excellent job there. You correctly get the tech read, and you punish him for it. Great job. The lack of a tech, I mean. You punish him not teching. Great job getting at the ledge. Great patience there. What'd you do in this situation? So you rolled here, and then you roll in. Okay. In this case, he had hard commit to a smash, so that's safe enough. But you also could have just dropped it and ran over, or even punished him, right? But regardless, at least here doesn't punish you. Just be aware that when you're in this situation over here, it's very common for you to just roll in. Okay, excellent DI. That would have killed you had you not DI'd that properly. And then right here at ledge, you roll in. Okay, so you've picked roll in like 3 or 4 times in a row. This might just be a today thing. Be aware of it. Okay, so if you're possibly if you're stressed out, again, I can't read your mind of how you were feeling that day, but if you're in a stressful situation or the game is tense or tight, just be aware that roll in is a very scary option at ledge. It's easily punished by tons of stuff. Okay, so here's a strange one. You have your invulnerability, right? And he commits here, but instead of running at him to either grab or even just attempt to punish, you back away to over here. Just remember that when you come down, you do have invulnerability. And although you, being Sonic, you do want to go to neutral a lot, right? Absolutely, you want to play more a more bait and punishy style with this character, right? At least when you're coming down from a stock, don't be afraid to use your speed to apply pressure and just see what they do, right? Because they might just make a mistake, like he did there, where you could have gotten some free damage in, or started a combo chain, or anything. Okay, you two are going to play footsies for a while. Great job there. Yep, you just get back to neutral. You do great. I'm so happy with how often you'll go from disadvantage stages back to neutral. All right, so this is another example of this is being a good player, right? He's really patient here, right? He's super patient. And then he hits you with it only at the very last second when and you just happen to drop shield at the time. Really, this is a very good sword player. Okay, again, you rolled in. Great job. Okay, you give him a little bit too much room, right? No biggie. You roll in, and he gets the stock for it. Yep. So that's it. You did a really good job for all of neutral in this. Like, fantastic work. It's just when you get boxed in, you tend to take a panic option of some very common kind of new competitive player habits, and you get punished for it. I'm very happy that you're picking defensive options at all. So that's great. But just be aware that when you face a good, a really, really good player, they are going to be able to punish some of these more beginner, medium beginner kind of mistakes. So that's something you can start working on, right? I'm going to try to take a look at some of your other games and see if it's a habit that persists. But at the very least, in this game, it was a habit you had. All right. I hope this was helpful. I'm very sorry for the delay, but I hope at least if this one can actually go up, that you'll find it helpful. All right, Silas. See ya at practice.